Hello, it's Dale. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I've been very frustrated about evangelism. Yeah, evangelism, our chief joy. Who's kidding who? But, you know, when God gets a hold of you, He keeps working with you. He takes His time and does what He needs to do with you. And just recently, this funny story. You got to get on Redeemer Church, Albany, and look up Michael Franzese. He's I don't think I pronounced that right, but he was a mobster. He was a kingpin. You know what I mean? His story is so funny. He saw this girl come out of the water. He was in Florida. She was she was gorgeous. She was just beautiful, you know. And of course, he's got plenty of money, you know, and he kept inviting her to meet with him, you know, and she didn't pay any attention to him, I guess, for about 5 times. Then she meets with him, and I guess she likes him okay, you know. And then she said, "Well, you got to come out and meet my mother." So his her mother questions him a little bit, you know. By the way, this guy was he had amassed $5 billion either then or later. He had this system of skimming, I think, gasoline stations or something. The tax, I can't remember what he did. It was amazing. So anyway, um, she I'll put you on my prayer list. She checks him out as to his background. You know, he says I'm Catholic. He said, "Well, do you practice?" You know, and it went on and on like this. You know, man, but the Lord, you know, she prayed, and the Lord got a hold of him, man, and he's got quite a testimony, quite a story. Now, all right, this is leading up to something. Prayer. The Lord's the Lord, you know, it's funny. The Lord takes you all over the place before He gets you where He wants you. You know, He just keeps working with you. He just keeps working with you. I think that what we should all do, because I'm trying to figure out how do we win Johnstown and Gloversville. I think we should all buy a big notebook with lots of pages and start putting people's names on it. And start with your neighborhood. You know, meet your friends to just check to see where they're at, how are they doing, you know, are things okay, you know, just a general visit. All right. Now, I had something interesting. We were doing evangelistic services at our church, all right, once a month. I wasn't getting anywhere. I kept running into problems, but I think I had it down and then something would go wrong. But anyway, I was talking to people about my food stand, my vegetable stand. I have a vegetable stand, and I grow some vegetables, or I attempt to grow some vegetables. Anyway, I would give them a sheet, and then I got like a nudge for the Lord. Hey, you might talk about your sheet. You know, my sheet had on, "Who is Jesus Christ?" You know, that's Billy Graham style. Anyway, so I had a breakthrough when I said, has anybody ever talked to you about who Jesus is? You know? And what happened is they gave me their whole religious background. It was wonderful. You know, we didn't take it anywhere. I didn't know what to do with it, but they gave me their whole religious background. Well, what the Lord showed me recently is you can do that again, and I have a way to sharpen knives, and I'm going to start talking about that. And I think I'm going to charge 20 bucks for 10 knives, you know, and that's cheap because online they charge you $5 and you got to ship them to them. I mean, it's crazy. So I'm going to do that. But when I go out this time, I'm gonna take what I learned before. But the secret, I believe, in evangelism is you put their name down. You get their name, you put their name down, and you start praying for them, and then you somehow keep relating to them. You know what I mean? So that's my thought now. If you do that, you'll have other things that you can relate to them about, you know. And I want to pledge to you, if you will come, we've got something going on, and I'll talk about it a little more. We got something going on in our church. And by the way, if you come to our church, that doesn't mean we're going to grab your convert. You take them back to your church. But if you come there, bring a friend, and talk to me prior, and have me praying for that person. I'll put them down on my prayer list. I'll have separate sections or separate prayer books. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but we can get into evangelism through prayer. Okay, we're going to talk about this more later on. The event at our church involves Career Direct, which will help people with their careers, and it's a great way to softly move into the gospel. And then I'm going to preach the gospel later on during the meal. We'll have a meal. That date is May 1st. I'm going to keep talking about that more and more. But I'm going to sign off now, but I'm going to share as much as I can as the Lord leads, as the Lord gives me new ideas. But I'm starting to get excited, just like I talked about in the other videos. How do we get excited? Well, I think prayer is something that everybody can do. Okay? Thank you, and don't forget, Pastor Torres is coming speaking about evangelism, and he's really good. He really knows what he's doing, and he practices in his own church. Trust me. You ought to come. It's Saturday at 12 noon to 1 o'clock. Saturday, 12 noon to 1 o'clock. This is going a little late. Thank you, folks.